Welcome, everyone, to the best sports gambling show on the planet. This is WagerTalk Today. I'm your host, Andy Lang, and there is no time to waste. We have 5 guests today. Gianni's going to get us started with the Steam Report, where the money's going. Tokyo Brandon, one of the hottest handicappers alive right now. Picks-wise, not looks-wise. We're going to go over the Rangers and Rays, the Royals and the Cardinals. Nick Parsons is going to join us to go over an NHL Game 2 free play, as well as our featured $2 handicapper at Sports Memo. Dave Mason from BetOnline is going to join us. We're going to play Beat Dave Mason. And then Kyle Anthony is going to join us. He's going to break down the main event and the co-main event at UFC 316. And, of course, we got to play Sell Me, where Dan randomly picks a fight and assigns me and Kyle a side, and we got to break it down, and Dan gets to pick who did the best job. So we're not doing any NFL season win totals because it's just too big of a jam-packed show. Tomorrow, Dan and I will break down the Seattle Seahawks, but let's get into it. Let's bring in Gianni. Gianni, it's a jam-packed Thursday here on the show. What are you seeing so far this morning?
Not all that much. It's a little early, but we got day baseball, so you would think there's a little bit more as far as action goes. But real quickly, let's go over what happened last night. Edmonton gets the job done. We saw money come in on them for the adjusted series price at minus 200. That's why you're probably seeing minus 210s, even minus 220s out there. At minus 200 or better, there's steam on Edmonton to win this series, which kind of holds true with history. You win game 1, usually going to win that Stanley Cup 7 out of 10 times. Now we're looking at game 1 of the finals tonight. A lot more balance. Good two-way action on the side. Good two-way action on the total. Like I said, nothing's really changed from yesterday. You know how home teams do in the finals. They usually win game 1 close to 8 out of 10 times. But the spread's the great equalizer, and I think that's why you're seeing some balance here. Just as much Indiana action as Oklahoma City action. Seeing overs, seeing unders. So it's probably a really good game 1 to be a bookmaker because I don't think they're going to have a ton of risk when this game goes off. But again, the money that I have seen one-sided seems to be on Indiana to win the series. And again, they want to put up a little money to win a lot. But historically, the home team wins the NBA Finals about 73% of the time, which is right along the same percentage that the home team wins in the playoffs any round in the NBA. Up over 7 out of 10 times, home teams do win the series. But again, not too many recreational bettors want to lay 6 or 7 to win 1 on Oklahoma City right now. Real quickly, in Major League Baseball, we've seen some money on 902 Atlanta all the way up to minus 140. This is all sharp. 905, the Mets at plus 120. 913, Baltimore, plus 140, plus 145. Toronto at plus money or even money. They're taking Toronto. And the one total is under in the White Sox and Detroit, under 8.5 up to minus 130, and then under 8 as well up to minus 110. So again, still a little early, but we do have a handful of baseball steam in there, and the series, adjusted series price in the Stanley Cup Finals. Nothing to report sharp yet on tonight's NBA game, but hopefully we get some props throughout the day.
Yeah, listen, someone was pointing this out, like Colorado Rockies, ultimate fade machine, 3 wins in a row. I mean, that probably wiped out quite a few people, and the bookmakers are probably standing there just going, yeah, all we had to do was wait, and we're going to get our money back on these bad teams.
Never
it's
fails.
Just only a matter. It doesn't it? It just never fails, right?
It's going to happen. I mean, listen, that's the beauty of baseball. You have a long enough season that there's no play on or play against like automatics. Everybody's going to more or less progress and regress towards their mean, and nobody's ever as good as they look or as bad as they look. And we've seen that with those teams that after, a month and a half, 6-8 weeks, they were up, hitting that 70% mark. They've come back down to earth. And most of those teams that were well behind are winning some games as well. When the dust settles, you'll see Colorado will have won more than 15% of their games. So be careful just fading them blindly. You got to pick your spots.
And, going back to something that you've preached from the very beginning of baseball season, like, not too many teams are going to win 60% of their games. So I was going to go through some teams here. Yankees are at 61%, Tigers 65%, New York Mets 63%, Chicago Cubs 62%, and the Dodgers 59.7%. So it's kind of interesting. So if you're playing these numbers that we've been talking about, you're probably thinking, okay, the value's probably been sucked out of the Yankees, the Tigers, the Mets, and some of these teams that are hitting over 60% of their games.
They really have, because if you just go back 3 or 4 weeks, I promise you, you're going to see all those teams closer to the 70% mark, and they've just come back down to life. The only team that hasn't regressed towards the mean quickly is Detroit. Like I thought Detroit would come back to earth a lot faster, and that hasn't happened. It happened quickly with the Dodgers. It happened with the Mets. Happens with most of those first place teams. You even saw it with the Yankees. But it hasn't happened yet with Detroit, and I think that is coming. The fade Detroit. I mean, look for spots to fade Detroit, because it's just not sustainable. Go back over the last 10 years, and I don't think you'll find 5 teams that won more than 65% of their games. If you could even find that, I'd be surprised. So you expect the regression from Detroit. That's a good fade team over the next month or so. Again, you can't time that, but the law of big numbers tell us it is going to happen.
We got UFC 316 coming up. You seen any interesting thing line movement? I don't remember a card that's been this chalky. We did our UFC breakdown video, and it was just like you're trying to find any spots where these dogs have a chance to hit, and money just keeps coming in on the big. Kayla Harrison's up to minus 750. Anything interesting that you're seeing in some of these UFC lines? And yeah, go ahead.
No, you absolutely nailed it. That's exactly what has happened. It's been nothing but favorite money. And it's been that kind of year so far. I mean, I turn in the notes every week to the UFC, and I go over results for them. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's 67, 68% right now, the favorites. Like over the last 3 events, the favorites have done really, really well. So not surprising to see the money coming in early on the favorites, moving the line in that direction. The problem becomes, like, if you don't get down early, you're kind of just hoping that you're picking the right side. Like you're not really getting much line value. Again, it's great to cash a ticket, but if you're going to be doing it for profit, you can't be laying minus 400s when it opened minus 200. You do that enough, you're going to end up going broke. So I like, that's where the problem is with this card. It is a chalky type of card, and that's where all the money's come in. The goal is to try to find a couple dogs that I think are undervalued maybe a little bit, especially as the money keeps coming in over the next 24, 48 hours. Again, you do expect dogs, other than Major League Baseball and NHL, MMA is the 3rd highest rate for dogs to win on the money line. Like you expect it to be around that 35% mark, even a little higher than that some years. And it's just not there yet. So I do think the dogs are playing a little catch up. And this looks like one of those cards where we may see some dogs stick their neck out and ruin some of them long shot parlays, because every move has been towards the favorite so far. And when that's the case, the only thing you could do is kind of wait and find, some of those spots with the dogs that offer you a little bit more value. Because again, if you're not getting down early on these favorites, I think most of the value has been extracted. I'm seeing like minus 280 openers now, minus 550. You just can't bet that and expect to make money long term. You just got to leave it alone and wait for a better bet.
Any action on totals that you've seen? I don't know if I know you play totals. I like some of the totals as well. So there's a few that jump out on this card. The Sergey and Ju Sang-Yu fight kind of jumps off the page. I think the Spivak fight, I like the under on that one. Spivak with 7 straight finishes. If you're struggling to figure out what to do with these favorites, if you think there's going to be finishes, totals, there's some value there.
Yeah, I agree. The ones that stuck out to me were the main event, co-main events. I like the overs. Again, if you did nothing else but that, Andy, look for those 3.5s and 4.5s and bet those over the last decade plus, you'd have a double-digit return on investment. Just because, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's just so true. In ball sports, the bias is towards favorites and over. And, the markets become more efficient, bettors become more sharper, so you can't just blindly bet dogs and under. But you got to know going in that the market's going to be shaded towards the bias of favorites and over. And in MMA, it's so heavily biased towards the under because bettors want to see finishes. They want to see knockouts. They want to see submissions. They want to see inside the distance. They don't want the judges getting involved. And because of that, those 3.5s and those 4.5s offer a lot of value on the over, because every round that passes, the probability of a finish gets cut in half. So like once you get past that second round, like the chances of it going to a decision are a lot greater. Like once you get past the first round, then the second round, then the third round, it gets like, it's really hard to see those finishes late. And again, I think going over offers a little bit of value, especially getting plus money on the Julianna Pena and Kayla Harrison fighting that co-main event, because both girls are durable. And I know everybody wants to see a finish there and thinking Kayla's going to get her out of there, but Pena could take a beating, boy. And if she keeps coming, she knows she's preparing for deep waters. That's the only way she's going to beat Kayla Harrison, get her into the third and fourth round. And even in the main event, I think Merab's going to have to be a little more patient here, because Sugar's going to have to adjust what he did last time around. I think we're going to see a different style fight. And I know they're saying all the right things, going to be more aggressive, going for the finish, but I think it's going to play out similar. And we're going to see an over there as well. It's just a little too chalky. That's why I haven't gotten involved.
Agree completely. We got a jam-packed show, Gianna. I know you have a super busy weekend coming up. I believe. Are you going to be at UFC 316? You going to be there?
No, not going out to New York. No. I considered it, but no, not for that one, because it's International Fight Week coming up in 2 weeks here.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, down in Texas. Yeah, that should be a fun week. We got a packed show. Gianni, tell everyone what you have up for clients up at WagerTalk.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm loaded over there at WagerTalk, expecting a good couple of days. I got a 3-pack up in Major League Baseball today with an isolated 4% play. I narrowed down the board to the 3 strongest bets. We need to start winning again in baseball. Still up for the year, but been cold the last week. Tell you when I win, tell you when I lose. Also got a UFL 2-pack for Sunday. Number 1 in profit right now in the UFL. Don't overlook those markets. I have the UFC 316 card up as well. And of course, game 1 of the NBA Finals, I got a 4%. And any props that come in, they'll go in that package as well. So big weekend, boys. Big weekend.
All right, Gianni the Greek. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's get after. Hey, everyone, stop what you're doing and hit that friggin' like button. Let's get to 100 likes before the end of the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. We got 205,000 subscribers. So 205,000 people can't be wrong. Subscribe to the channel. You're going to get notified when we break down all these videos. Our UFC breakdown video with myself and Jim just went up. We've got plenty of Pacers and Thunder breakdown videos. We got plenty of NHL breakdown videos. So subscribe to the channel. That way you get notified and you don't miss out on anything. We're going to talk to Tokyo Brandon a bit. You're going to get notified when they go live every morning for the MLB show. They do a fantastic job, him and Adam Trigger. So, all right, let us go all around the world here real quick. Dan, we got some free plays. A lot of these can be found on the WagerTalk free picks page. We're going to start with Ronald Kabang. He's got an under on the Pacers team total, under 110.5. Thunder, number 1 defense this postseason. OKC allowing 106 points per game on 44.2% shooting. 9-0 run on road teams going under their team total in game 1 of the finals, where the home team is rested and they're 5 or more point favorites. So it checks a lot of these boxes here. And Ronald has a 5% WNBA best bet that is up. He's continuing his absolute assault on the books with the WNBA. Fantastic last couple years, and he's doing it again this year. So Ronald Kabang, 5% WNBA best bet that is up. Team total today to look at, Mystics. We're going to the WNBA. Take a look at the Mystics under 75.5 on their team total. Mystics 11th out of 13 teams. Offensive efficiency, they're the worst team in the league from threes, 26.7%. And they're facing just a brutal opponent. The Liberty have held opponents to 52 and 63 points the last 2 games. By far the number 1 defensive team in the league. And I had to mention this one. Pavlos with a 6-1 free play. I've never seen this one before. European World Cup qualifiers, San Marino 6-1. Will have an own goal against Bosnia. I love this one. San Marino scored an own goal in their last game, and several opponents have already scored own goals against Bosnia. The thinking is Bosnia is going to dominate possession, and they're going to fire a bunch of shots, and it won't take a lot for a deflected ball off a defender to go in. So you want a nice little long shot and a fun one to root for. Pavlos giving out a 6-1 on European World Cup qualifiers. San Marino to have an own goal. All right, guys, we still have our promo up 7 days for $77. Again, we're talking about this all week. 1 day is normally $39, or you can get 7 days for $77. It's a no-brainer. There's no limitations. NBA Finals, NHL, baseball, anything, any of our props that you want is available with this. So 7 days for just $77. It's a great discount, and we're coming up on a huge weekend. Again, UFC pay-per-view. We've got a lot of soccer plays. We've got MLB, and we've got NHL and NBA that are starting up. So 7 days for just $77. Use the promo code GAMEON77. Again, GAMEON77. If you're looking to try out a handicapper, or you have your favorite handicapper and you're wanting 7 days, perfect time to do it. So 7 days for just $77. All right, we mentioned Tokyo Brandon earlier. Tokyo, I got to give you all the credit in the world, man. You came on here and you were like, my April wasn't that good, and we talked. We were like, not worried. Should have been worried. Congratulations, man. Your run has been absolutely insane. It's just kind of baseball. You just be patient. You know the results are going to be there. So first off, congratulations on your run, and we're going to talk about a couple of games here, Rangers and Rays, Royals and Cardinals. What's been the turning point for you, man? Just steady, and the results are getting there, or have you made any adjustments?
Yeah. What's up, Andy? My capping is a lot data driven. I use a database since I was a capper in Major League Baseball. I use the same database. And I think it just takes a little time for the numbers to finally materialize, because the players, at the beginning of the season, things are a little slow. Players are cold, hot, and whatever. I think it takes a couple months for the things to finally come together as the numbers are predicting. And I'm pretty database driven, and 25-4 runs. So I got a lot of haters, but I don't know why. Let's put it.
I'm not. Listen, there's a saying that having haters is a good thing. I will never forget. I'm pulling out a wrestling thing here. When John Cena told another wrestler in the ring, he said, "When I come out, half the crowd boos and half the crowd cheers. When you come out, everybody's silent." And that's not the place you want to be. So
when people start chirping me, I'm like, why? Chirp someone who loses, seriously.
Absolutely.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's always great when you can show long-term success, and now you're showing that short-term success. So congratulations to you. Yeah. Let's get into some games here. We're going to talk the Rangers and the Rays. We talked about at the beginning of the season, like, man, this isn't the Rays of old, but boy, they've turned their season around. 11-3, their last 14 games. They've already won the first 2 games against Texas here. How do you break down this game?
So Rangers and Rays, this is a good one. Yeah, you're like you mentioned, my April was not good, but May I kind of treaded water, and now I'm on a 25-4 streak. Number 2 at WagerTalk, number 1 3 of the past 4 years. So let's get into the Rangers and Rays. So the Rays are hitting really hot right now, and they got Pepio going today. He's kind of an average pitcher, not exactly the greatest in the world. I grade him a little bit over average here, but we got leader going for the Rangers. The Rangers have been one of the coldest hitting teams in Major League Baseball. But instead of a side here, I mean, I wouldn't mind going with the Rays, but the Rays are not probably as good as they've been playing on this current winning streak and this current tear that they're on, hitting the ball quite well. I don't think they're actually that good. So instead of a side at minus 150, I've got a nice little prop here. Leader is one of those guys who walks a lot of people. And I've coined this phrase on Total Bases. Total Bases is on every day at 9 a.m. Eastern live with me and Adam and Brian. And I've coined this phrase, chronic walker. And for some reason, people laugh at this phrase. I mean, I live in Japan, so maybe my English is fading a little bit. I don't think it's fading, but when I use the term chronic walker, it seems like I get a lot of comments and they say it sounds strange. But leader is a chronic walker, which means he walks a lot of guys at a pretty hefty rate. He's walking guys at 2.8 per 9 innings, which is a little bit high. The Rays are walking at a 3.2 per 9 inning rate. Jack Leader's walks over under today is 1.5. And I think the over 1.5 walks here is a really good bet. Probably not the greatest odds in the world, but Jack Leader is pretty likely to walk 2 guys today. So I'm on Jack Leader to walk over 1.5 in this game. I do like the Rays as well, but I think aside at that steep odds, I don't think the Rays are quite as good as they're playing right now. I think they're playing a little over their head. Pepio, I'm not a huge fan of his. I mean, he's a decent pitcher, but he's not as good as he's been pitching. So I like the Jack Leader walks over prop in this game a lot better than I like aside.
Tokyo Brandon, we're going to move on to the Royals and Cardinals. This is the first game of a doubleheader. We had a rain out earlier this week, so they moved it to doubleheader. First off, before we get to the game, do you treat doubleheaders any different?
Yes. There's a couple ways to treat doubleheaders different. The first way is don't bet the second game in general. You cap baseball, don't you, Andy?
Yeah. I don't touch the second game of a doubleheader ever.
Exactly. Most professional cappers don't. And the reason is because we don't really know what's going to happen in the first game. We don't know if someone's going to get injured. Mike Trout's going to pull a hamstring for the third time this season or whatever. So we don't know what's going to happen. And another thing about doubleheaders is in game one of a doubleheader, almost every manager is going to leave his pitcher out there, even if he's getting crushed. They don't really want to use up their bullpen in game one of a doubleheader. So you can count on little bullpen usage for the most part. Nothing's guaranteed in sports betting, but trend-wise, you can count on starters to go quite long, even if they're getting crushed. So we were talking about this on Total Basis today. We expect Mikolas to get tagged pretty good here, but I doubt the manager is going to take him out, even if he's starting to get tagged. And it's a good point that Adam made. So that's another kind of trend that I found in doubleheaders, that game one starters usually will go long, even if they're getting tagged, even if they're exhausted.
Well, let's talk about first game. We got Cameron going for the Royals, Mikolas going for the Cardinals. What do you do with this first game?
Cameron has been amazing, although the sample size is a little small. In his first 3 starts here this season, he's gone into the 7th inning every single start. And he's looked, I judge pitchers by 2 ways. I used to be a scout. I have an eye test for them, and then I have the data for them. He passes both tests. He's solid, but the sample size is small, so there's a little concern there. Miles Mikolas, I've not liked him ever since he pitched in Japan about 10 years ago when I was scouting. He was awful in Japan. He's awful in the major leagues. I don't know why the Cardinals are favored in this game. So I have a couple plays to play on this one. I have the Royals hitting better than the Cardinals. I have the Royals bullpen better than the Cardinals bullpen. And I have Cameron ranked higher than Miles Mikolas. I like the Royals here as a side. And here's another bet that I really like in this game. Noah Cameron, his outs prop came out about half an hour ago, and it's 16.5 outs. A lot of people ask me, what's an outs prop? 1 inning is 3 outs. So, the easiest divisible by 3 numbers are 18 and 15. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 18 outs is 6 innings. They're saying he's going to get over under 2 outs in the 6th inning. He's pitched into the 7th inning every start. I think, and the St. Louis Bats are really cold. I have them ranked 23 out of 30 teams right now. I don't think Noah Cameron's going to have a problem finishing 18 outs in this game. So I like the over 16.5 outs prop for Noah Cameron, as well as I like the money line for the Royals for plus money here. I don't know why they're underdogs. I have no idea.
Well, I will tell you this. The books sneakily agree with you, and here's why. I went to look at the team total for the Royals, and they're 3.5 at minus 140. They're making you pay a pretty premium just to get to 4 runs here. That doesn't mesh with the odds that they're giving you on the game, does it? Yeah,
it does not. That's a great bet too, Andy. I didn't even see that, but yeah, the Royals over 3.5 would be a decent bet as well because they're on the road and they get 9 innings of at bats. They're going against a very poor starter and they're going against a poor bullpen. So I certainly would not argue with that. Like I said earlier, in a double header, teams tend to leave their pitcher out even if he's getting tagged. I have a feeling we're going to see 4 or 5 runs given up by Miles Mikolas, and he's going to stay in the game and take one for the team here. It just seems like that's the way it's going to go. We'll see. We could be wrong, but our business is predicting the future, and that seems like a likely outcome to me.
I love it. Tokyo Brandon, one of the hottest guys on Wager Talk right now. And again, congratulations. You came here when things weren't going well. You told us things weren't going well, and you said, I'll be back every single week. And now we're here, and we can talk about when things are going great. So tell everyone what you have up at Wager Talk.
So I have a feature play in MLB up today. I just gave you a few of my plays right now, but I do have a feature play up in the Rays game. And you can use code TB3 to get 3 days all access to my plays for just $39. That includes any 5%, 4% plays that I put out in that 3-day span. 5% plays, as you know, generally cost $35. So $4 more, you can get any 5% play I have out, plus 2 more days. Pretty good deal. Number one, 3 of the last 4 years. Number 2 right now, and climbing. So could be number 1 soon. We'll see.
Yeah, you passed me. You passed me. I couldn't keep up with your hot streak. So
I knew you were number 2. So sorry, Andy.
No, hey, listen, man, we're here. We're here to make money for clients. Yeah, we're here to make money for clients, and I would much rather be 3 and having a fantastic year rather than being number 1 and not having that big of a year. So it's a fun little competition you and I have going.
As we know, these rankings are fluid. I mean, I could be 3 pretty soon. We'll never know, but we're both winning, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Tokyo Brandon. And real quick, tell everyone about Total Bases. I went and watched your show, and you guys do a much more technical breakdown, and it's hitting home with the audience, the amount of comments that you guys get. So tell everyone about it.
Yeah, the audience seems to love it. So baseball fans are pretty unique. They're kind of know-it-alls. They like stats, and they're kind of geeks like me. So we do deep dives into the games. Adam is very knowledgeable on who's called up from the minors and how they perform down there. I'm pretty knowledgeable in the data and the statistics. And Brian is knowledgeable. Brian is the number 1 baseball capper at WagerTalk Lifetime. So we got 3 of the best baseball cappers, 9 a.m. Eastern every weekday. We'll break down certain games, and we let the chat decide what games we break down. We have no agenda, nothing, no templates. We just come in and let the chat dictate what we're doing. It's a lot of fun. Join us weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern live.
All right, Tokyo Brandon, everyone. Go ahead and hit that like button, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here. Listen, it's UFC 316. I have a 5% best bet that is up. We added 2 more plays. One of them is a really nice plus money play that we just love. We're number 1 in the UFC in 5% plays, 8-2 this year, and we're number 1 in MMA profits. Really, really proud of that. We're really proud of the pack that we have up. So that's what we're focusing on. Kind of a wash yesterday. Nothing bad, nothing good. I think we were 1-1 yesterday, so nothing huge to promote except UFC. If you want to cash in on UFC, I've always said Wager Talk is some of the best UFC handicappers that are out there, so take advantage of that 5% play. These are plays that we bet with our own money. These are plays that we build our own bankrolls with. We're up 30 units this year. We're on pace for one of our best years ever, so join us and cash in the UFC with our 5% best bet that is up. All right, we're going to bring in Dave Mason here from BetOnline. Dave, you shook the world with your first ever beat Dave Mason when you said Patrick Reed to win the PGA Championship, and then he didn't even make the cut. So congratulations on that one. How's everything going for you at BetOnline?
All good, man. I mean, we're winding down here, and we're at the final for the NHL and NBA, so we're kind of approaching what we in the industry call the slow season, or I guess the slower season. But there's always something to bet on, so that's when the MLB kicks into full gear, and there's always fights. There's always some good golf next week, and of course, the French Open concluded this weekend. So, all
right, let's play Beat Dave Mason here. What is a play that we can beat you with? What do you have liability on? Either a bunch of public bets? Is it we got beat the bookie? Is it a bunch of sharp plays? What is it? I'm guessing it's UFC.
Well, let's start there. I mean, UFC. As far as the public, they're all over O'Malley in the main event. Sean O'Malley, he's a dog, big dog, not big dog, but what is it, like plus 240, I think, right now.
Yep.
Versus Merab, Dvalishvili. not a little bit of two-way sharp action on that fight, but like I said, the straight bets are on O'Malley. That being said, I mean, there's a lot of parlay cash on the other side. I think last I checked, like 86% of the parlay cash on that fight is on Merab. So it's one of those fights where I don't know who we really want until the main event happens, because if it's a very chalky event, then we might need O'Malley to win outright just to bust up a lot of those parlays, because there are so many money line parlays and all chalk money line parlays in MMA that those kind of fights that are kind of, it's hard to determine who we need. If there's a lot of upsets, then we'll want the upsets to consider or we'll want the chalk to win a fight like that. But if there's not, and it's all chalk, we'll want to bust up some of those parlays. As far as other sharp stuff, Harrison -600, Holland -210 or better, Vaughn -650 or better. So a lot of chalk. Wang Cong -475, Cortez Acosta +122. But there's sharp on the other side of that, -131 on Sergey, and Gustafsson +175. That's some of the sharp stuff.
Love it. Love it. All right. Where did you beat everybody last week? Was there a particular play or particular event that you guys did really well on?
We've been doing well. We've been doing well in the NBA. MLB's been a grind. I think we had I forget what day it was. Was it Monday? I can't remember. It was the biggest losing day in MLB of the season. So we got murdered on MLB earlier in the week, but NBA's been good. We would have preferred the Knicks to move on to the finals. The OKC was good, but Pacers or Knicks moving on was good, but Knicks would have been just a little bit better. So it's been a grind. NHL has been solid. Both these teams making the finals are good for futures, although Florida is better for us, so we're definitely Florida fans.
All right. Dan and I have been using your guys' lines to go over NFL season win totals. And Dan, we were doing Washington. We was like, why are these lines so perfect? You guys just, man, you have these dialed in so well. Have you taken any decent action on season win totals, or is it too early?
I mean, some comes in. It's more from like guys like yourselves, right? I mean, the public really doesn't show their faces for, before kickoff. So, stuff like that, it's just a lot of more educated action early, which is kind of cool. That we accept the sharp action and how it helps us sharpen those odds. So when the public does come in a month or 2 months or whatever, the odds are as sharp as possible. Speaking of sharp, let me see what we have here. Detroit under 10.5. -115 got hit. That was the sharpest of them all. As far as public, let me see here. that's what public. Let's see. Over 7.5 for Cowboys is a play. Over 7.5 for the Patriots is popular. That's getting the most cash. Yeah. It looks like, that's getting the most cash without a doubt. Over 7.5 for the Patriots.
How's French Open going for you? This has been a pretty good, entertaining tournament. We just had Swiatek and Sabalenka. How's been the handle at French Open?
Good, man. It's steady. It starts off slow the week of it. I'm not the biggest tennis guy either, so but it always starts off slow, but it picks up. Once you get to the really good meat and potatoes matches, that's no different now from a future standpoint. Who do we need here?
I'm guessing this Boyson on the women's side, if she wins the whole thing, you guys are going to be cleaning up. Was she 361st in the world and is all of a sudden in the semis?
Yeah, exactly. That'll be good. Coco Gauff is all right. For the men's side, the Sinner's our biggest win. Djokovic is decent. Alcaraz is small. Then Musetti, the long shot, he's the only loss, and it's a small loss. So we're looking okay there.
All right. What are some of your favorite bets this weekend personally? What are you enjoying?
Shoot. I'm going against the Sharps tonight. Pacers. I'm taking Pacers +9.5. So I'm on the recreational side, which is all right. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. As far as UFC, I'm taking Merab minus 275. I took Mario Batista plus 160 versus the newcomer Patchy Mix. Mix is, we this came over from Bellator, and I think the last time he fought was a year ago, and I don't know. It's more. I mean, Batista's no slouch. Plus 160 against a guy making his UFC debut. I've been watching enough UFC to know what sometimes when these high-profile guys come over from another organization, it's kind of like welcome to the big leagues moment. So that's my reasoning there. And Vicente Luque plus 240, and that's just more of a fade Holland. I don't think Holland should be that much of a favorite, to tell you the truth. So those are my plays for this weekend. Good luck to me.
Talk a little business here. Are you aware of what happened in the state of Illinois with what they are doing with taxing the domestics here? Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I saw it the other day. Incredible.
I need to get your thoughts on this. This is one of the most ludicrous things I've seen in a long time. For those that don't know, the state of Illinois is now going to add a 25-cent tax to every bet, and that's charged directly to the sports books for the first 20 million. And then they add 50 cents. And I'm guessing that the books, Dave, are not just going to eat that cost. That's going to be passed down onto the customer. I would love your take on this. I truly can't believe it.
Yeah, I feel for them too, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to increase. There's just no way that's sustainable. I mean, there's so many. If you're a big bettor or whatever, if they're taking big bets on guys, with 3, 4, 5 figure bets, that 25 cents, 50 cents. I mean, it's still something though, and it adds up to the bottom line. But where it's really going to hurt them is just all the small recreational bettors. I mean, there's a ton of people that just bet a few bucks a game and 10, 20, even $5 a game. Our limits are low, like $1 or $2 for a reason, because there's a lot of people who want to do that. Now, for one bettor, it's like, he's just betting $1. But those guys add up. There's a lot of $5, $10, $20 bettors. If you're adding 25-cent tax on top of that, and then eventually a 50-cent tax, I mean, that just hurts you. Digs into your margin big time. So, yeah, it's going to get passed off on the bettors. They're going to be more juice, fewer promos. They'll probably raise the limits, right, on the small players. How the hell can they take a $1 bet or a $2 bet on just some recreational guy when they have to pay 25 to 50 cents on that? So yeah, I mean, it's another example. There's a government, a bunch of people who don't bet. They don't understand the math. They just don't understand the industry at all. And getting on a political rant here, which I love, but guys putting their fingers on something they're not experts on. How the hell can you do that? Just getting greedy. They're already taxing stuff, and they're just more and more taxes. And it's a shame to see. It really is.
Yeah, I hope it's a one state thing, because I live in the state right next to them. I don't want my state getting any ideas, Dave. So, right. Rest be sure, Dave Mason and BetOnline aren't doing that to you guys. So, Dave, tell everyone about BetOnline, what you got up there, and where we can find you at.
Yes, sir. I mean, the NHL playoffs are here. Stanley Cup is here, and we have reduced juice odds on NHL all season long. So if you're looking for some of the best value on the Stanley Cup Finals, we have it. Our limits are big, and our limits are small too. If you're a recreational guy like I was just talking about, and you just want to play around for $1 or $2, we take that action. So we take our sharp action, but we also take a lot of recreational action. We like to take as much action as possible. Some books like sharps, some guys like recreational. We love it all. We have something for everybody, and including a huge VIP program.
Well, thank you, Dave. I always say every week, I've been a customer even long before since I met you. So the withdrawals are great. The deposits are great. Everything's really easy. And you guys are always the first book that comes out with UFC lines. You're always the first one I check to. So keep doing what you're doing over there, guys. I'm a big fan. So appreciate you, Dave.
Hey, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, I don't get paid to promote BetOnline like that. I've talked about betonline.ag for a long, long time. So big fan of Dave and all the work that they do. So, all right, we're going to break down the Thunder and the Pacers here in a bit. We're going to bring in Nick Parsons here. Nick, we're going to talk a little bit about NHL and love to get your thoughts on the game last night, overtime thriller. But first, real quick, tell us about your $2 featured handicapper over at Sports Memo. Ray Monahan, I believe, is this week's featured capper.
That's right. Yeah. Good to see you this week, Andy. Missed you there last week. So yeah, Ray Monahan, he's our $2 capper Thursday at Sports Memo, guys. Obviously a really great deal. Head on over to Sports Memo every Thursday to take advantage of this deal. Monahan, he's a 20-year veteran. He's on several big runs. And so his $2 Thursday play is a 4% NBA best bet. And dating back to mid-May, he's on a 60% NBA run. He has 2 other picks up as well and a free play on Thursday. So yeah, that's it. Head on over to Sports Memo for $2 Thursday.
All right, Nick, what was your take on game one? Just an awesome game to watch.
It was. Yeah, no, I on my show that I produced for Sports Memo, the betting memo, I gave out a client play on the Oilers. And so I had the Oilers, and I guess I don't feel extremely lucky to win that one just because they definitely outplayed them other than that second period there. And so, yeah, looking ahead to game 2 here, I've got an early lean here. This could in fact turn into a client play, but after game 1 flew over the number in the Oilers 4-3 overtime victory, I'm sort of anticipating a lower scoring game here in game 2. I mean, as I just mentioned, the Oilers, they outshot the Panthers 46-32. Stuart Skinner, he made 29 saves. They were able to erase that multi-goal deficit, and they got the victory there. But one interesting stat I saw, Andy, because I know you're interested in stats, is that 76% of teams that win game 1 of the best of 7 Stanley Cup final have then gone on to win the series all time. And so, yeah, as you mentioned, it was a great overtime goal there. Connor McDavid to Leon Draisaitl. But another really interesting stat about Draisaitl there, Andy, he's now tied the Stanley Cup playoffs record for the most overtime goals in one playoff year with 3. And so maybe he's going to break that record this year. He has a chance to do that anyways there. In the end, Sergei Bobrovsky, Stuart Skinner, they both had really poor games, but that's uncharacteristic of them, especially in this playoffs. Going into game 1, Bobrovsky, he had a .912 save percentage and a 2.1 goals against. Skinner, he had a .904 save percentage and a 2.53 GAA. And so game 1 flew over the number. I just think that, yeah, the guys between the pipes are going to stand out here. And so I like the under. I mean, game 1 was at 6, and now game 2 is at 6.5. As I say, this could become a client play, but I like the under.
Give that stat again against Draisaitl. That's a great, trick your friends.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, he's now tied the Stanley Cup playoffs record for most overtime goals in one playoff year with 3. So
wow, there was a cool moment. I don't know if you happen to be watching. I happen to have it on the background in between regulation and overtime. And they asked Wayne Gretzky what was his prediction, and he said, "I think the Oilers win on a Connor McDavid assist."
Wow, I didn't
McDavid
see
throws
that.
that sick pass to Draisaitl for that absolutely amazing goal. So that was a really cool moment. They call him the great one for a reason there. So you've been doing really well over at Sports Memo. We know about Ray Monahan. We want to go get that $2 play. We always say the only thing better than a winning play is a $2 winning play. But you yourself doing really good. Number 2 in NHL, number 2 in NBA. Well done, sir.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I had a down May after posting 6 straight months of profits, but now that June started, I'm now 75%. I'm 6-2, and so looking to build off a 3-0 day yesterday, guys. I have 3 big plays up over at Sports Memo. You can check out Ray Monahan's $2 play, but you can also check out myself and the picks that I have up as well.
Great job. We talk to Nick every Thursday. Really appreciate it. Go check out Ray Monahan's $2 play. The Strategist has a comment. Andy, any Canadian Open matchups you like? As far as matchups, no, but it rained and the course got really soft, which means the greens are really receptive. So I think you're looking at overs, but I don't like some of these numbers. There's a tee. Maybe look at Corey Connors under 67.5 at plus 110. He would have to get to 3 under. I mean, the leaders are at -5, but the course is playing very, very easy. Can't say that's a client play or can't say it's anything super strong. I'll probably wait and just watch the rest of the tournament and see if we have anything for tomorrow. So little lean, but not really gonna put my own money on it. So let's talk the Thunder and the Pacers in game 1. Tips off tonight. We've got the Pacers +9, and I'm seeing 9.5. So we got more money coming in on the Thunder for sure. Over under is sitting at 230. So we'll go over a pick for this game, and we'll also go over a prop. I like Aaron Nesmith under his points, rebounds, and assists. I'll tell you why. Some of the stats that we've gone over, both teams are top 3 in pace and offense, but the biggest difference to me is that the Thunder are number 1 in defense and Pacers are number 9. I've talked about this, how I really think the Thunder are just a little bit better version of the Pacers. The Pacers have Halliburton, top 15 player. Thunder have SGA, top 2 player. Pacers have Miles Turner. Well, the Thunder can counter with Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. There was a game in March that I really wanted to pay attention to because the Pacers were playing unbelievable basketball at the time. This was a real game that meant something to both teams, and Chet did not play in that one. So we have a game that the Thunder played that the Chet Holmgren didn't play in, and the Thunder won 132-111. This was a really, really big eye-opening kind of watch because you realize how far ahead the Thunder are. When the Thunder are at their best, they're just so much better than the Pacers. Ralph has some really good stats here. Game number 1, NBA Finals, home teams. 17-3 ATS the last 20. If these home teams have 3+ days rest, they're 16-1. And if they're home favorite of 4 more, 14-0 ATS. All signs point to the Thunder blowing out the Pacers. I've given out this stat. The Thunder in the playoffs have a 221-point differential. So when they win, they're winning by big, big margins. I'm not going to overthink this one. I like the Thunder to roll in this series. I like the Thunder -9, -9.5. If you're going to play it, try and find that -9. I mentioned the prop, Aaron Nesmith, under 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's got that tweaked ankle. I don't know if he's going to be at 100%. And his role is simple. His role is to try and guard SGA. That's where all of his energy is going to go. Don't be surprised if they try and face guard SGA, even on both ends of the court. It wouldn't surprise me if he tried to pick up SGA full court. In that March game, 22 minutes, 7 points and 4 rebounds, so only 11 points, rebounds, assists. Here's the thing, 4 fouls. We know SGA gets a lot of whistles. If Nesmith is a primary defender, foul trouble is an absolute worry. And if he does get in foul trouble, if it's a blowout, or if he's hobbling around, they're not going to be able to play him in crunch time. So he's going to sit. And the last 2 games in the Knicks series when he had the ankle problem, 5 PRA and 14 PRA. So I'm looking at Aaron Nesmith under 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I look for the Thunder to get out to a 1-0 lead, and I look for them to cover the spread. No opinion on the total. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know if you agree with that one. And shout out to the chat. Let me know if you guys agree with this one as well. All right, let's bring in Kyle Anthony. We got to talk about the main event and the co-main event at UFC 316, and then we're going to do Sell Me, where Dan gives us a fight. He assigns us fighters, and we got to break it down. Kyle, let's just jump right into it. Let's start with the co-main. What a massive favorite here, Kayla Harrison at -750. How do you break this fight down? This is an odd one considering the odds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know when the last time a champion came in as this big of an underdog. I mean, it's pretty wild to see a champion, plus 400, plus 450, all of these things that you're kind of seeing, and it looks like it just keeps getting all Kayla money at this point. But, you go over her last 3 fights first, and you look that she shocked the world about three fights ago against Amanda Nunes, and that was a fight where, kind of looked like it was the worst version of Amanda Nunes. She kind of gassed out. I don't know, a little suspect on the submission there at the end where it wasn't really in, but either way, she gets the victory. When she came back, she goes out there and she just gets absolutely beaten up by Amanda Nunes, had 3 knockdowns, 6 takedowns, 12 minutes of control time. I mean, she just really owned her in that spot there and, of course, outlanded her and gets the win. The one thing here, and I know that there are some people that, may want to take that shot on Julianna, and, I can't argue, I guess, at this particular point when you're talking about the price, but the one thing that I thought was such a bad look for her was really her most recent fight against Raquel Pennington. I think at this point, you really need to put a stamp on fighting someone like Raquel Pennington, who's, you know, okay everywhere, but good nowhere. And I think that was a spot where you did see, you know, it was like 92 apiece on significant strikes. Pennington had one knockdown. Julianna had 2 takedowns. It was a split decision and really like an uneventful fight here. And this is the spot here on Saturday where, you know, this line's wild, but, you know, Kayla has the path here. And it's just really for the takedowns, a rinse and repeat, take her down, get that control time. And the thing about Julianna is the fact that she's not very good at defending takedowns. And that, to me, is a massive concern here. And obviously, I think why this line is where it's sitting. And 23% takedown defense rate. Anyone who's really wanted to take Julianna down took her down. Sarah McMahon was 3 for 3 on takedowns. Amanda Nunes, 6 for 7 on takedowns. Even if you go back to Nico Montano, who, you know, arguably one of the worst champions in UFC history, was 3 for 5 on takedowns against Julianna Pena. And the thing about it, Pena, she likes to be on her back. She's okay with it because she's got the jiu-jitsu. But the thing about it is she lacks physicality. She lacks strength, you know, and that's really where Kayla comes in here. You can see by the pictures, she's an absolute monster, and she's going to look for those takedowns. She's going to get them. It's going to be early. It's going to be coming, you know, a lot of, top time, ground and pound. And the thing about Pena is the fact that, you know, I think her best attribute is probably just being tough. You know, that's like really her, which is not a great thing to have, I think, at the UFC level, but that's really what her best attribute is. She's going to come forward. She's going to have sloppy combinations, but she's willing to take shots, come forward, not give up on herself. And that's kind of where I see this fight going, where I think it's going to be hard for Harrison to kind of get that finish here early. I think it's going to be, you know, opportunities for her, but as this fight wears on, I just really don't think that Harrison can get the job done. If Nunes couldn't finish her, I don't think that Harrison can either. And that's kind of where I'm thinking there's a lot of value here on Harrison. Now you've got, 7-1 favorite here, but we're going to flip it to a 2-1 dog. And Harrison by points is around plus 200. And I think that's where this goes here. Again, it can be some dicey moments, maybe, Julianna looking for, some kind of front choke while she's looking for these takedowns. But I think that, she's going to be okay, Kayla. I think she's going to get control time, winning the scorecard. So I think plus 200 by points is a really solid number.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you here. Me and Jim were laughing. Like, one of the worst business ideas ever might be like Julianna Pena ASMR channel, or like the voiceover career after such from Julianna Pena. But you're right, she's tough, man. You gotta put it on her to get her out of there. So I agree with that one. The one I agree with even more is your breakdown of the main event. Tell us what you think of Merab and Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, so in the main event here, we've got Merab Dvalishvili. He is going to be around minus 300. On the comeback on Sean, you've got about plus 240. Now, this fight took place about 8-9 months ago, and we did have a 5-unit max bet on Merab Dvalishvili at plus 115. Cash the ticket for clients was a great spot. But boy, has the line changed. And yes, the line has changed, but stylistically, it may not really have changed at all. And I think the narrative going into, or after I should say, their first fight was, Sean had opportunities. Sean kept it close. O'Malley hurt him in the 5th, and oh my God, kind of things. And, you go back and watch this fight, I don't really see it. Plus, when you look at statistic-wise, I don't really see it much at all. I mean, he outlanded Sean 82-47 on significant strikes with 6 takedowns, 10 minutes of control time. And if you look at total strikes landed, which is very interesting, but total strikes landed, you have Merab with 214-49. And obviously, those aren't going to be the more impactful shots, but still, he is absolutely outlanding him. He is absolutely finding the control time. And you do have Sean who, he's an elite level striker. There is absolutely no doubt. The guy's got, good accuracy, good footwork. There are those things that he can do. But the thing about it is it's very hard to be a minute winner against Merab. It's just absolutely difficult because you're defensive wrestling for most of the time. That's really why Sean wasn't able to, get his offense going in that first fight. And that's the thing about Merab is he is a fantastic minute winner. He can go in there, he can look for takedowns, look for that control time. And really, I think the only out here for O'Malley is going to be a knockout. And it's very tough again to see because Merab has never been knocked out in his professional career. He's only been submitted 1 time in his professional career, and I don't think that's on the table at all. And if you look back, it's just kind of like, what has changed? what has really changed? Is all of a sudden, Sean going to be this elite level, defensive wrestler? Probably not. Is he all of a sudden going to get his offense off over 25 minutes? Probably not. So that's really where I think it's a tough stylistic matchup for him. I don't really see much happening here. I kind of feel like Sean's a little bit more of a celebrity than he is a fighter at this particular point here, which is, I think, why he's getting another title shot after just losing against Merab and not fighting anyone else. Is kind of, an odd situation here. But Merab's just a bad matchup. Best cardio probably in the UFC. One of the best paces in the UFC. One of the best chain wrestlers in the UFC here. So I think that this is Merab, and you're going to have to look at the method of victory here, which I do think by points, it's going to be very similar. I don't see Merab getting the finish. I think he gets a lot of control time, a lot of smothering pressure, and gets the victory. So you can get that around minus 150 on Merab and by points. And I think that's probably the path for him on Saturday.
Why? Why is this only minus 150? This is what Merab does. He just did it to Umar. Just did it to
if you're going to out wrestle Umar Nurmagomedov, I'm pretty sure you're going to out wrestle Sean O'Malley, who is a primary striker. And yes, he's long, he's lanky, he's more dangerous on the feet, but I just don't really see it. This is really the UFC saying, hey, we're going to get Sean in there. He's going to sell some pay-per-views. Like I said, he's a celebrity. He's a massive star. People love him. But I just feel even in interviews, it kind of seems like he's very mellow. I feel like he kind of knows what's going to be. He knows that he's going to be very tough to stop him. And I just think this is a bad spot for him.
Kyle, he enjoys rounds 4 and 5. Merab smiles like he's sick in the head. He loves it.
And that's even why where I think anyone who bets on the Sean O'Malley side, they're like, oh man, round 5, he hurt Merab. Merab was kind of fucking around. To be honest, but he was kind of screwed around. He knew it was 3. It was pretty clear 3-1 going to the 5th. So he kind of knew, hey, I got it. I'm going to move. I'm going to mess with him a little. And then he got caught. And at this level, with the striker he is, you can't do that. But again, I think he fights very smart here and gets it done.
All right, Kyle, tell everyone what you have up. You got a promo code, and then we're going to play Sell Me.
Yeah, so I do have a 5% max bet up right now. We're about 70% win rate on those since March of 2024. And I will actually be at this event on Saturday. Really excited about it. Going to see all these bets cash in. Have 4 plays in right now. We'll be adding to it. I do like this card from a betting perspective. Very chalky, but there are some angles that I do like. You can also get $15 off my 5% UFC 15 at checkout. And let's cash some money.
All right, let's bring in Dan and let's do Sell Me. Dan, can you bring up the Kayla Harrison photo real quick?
Yeah. Let me pull this up here.
So Kyle, Dan was like, "What's wrong with someone in the chat was like, my God, that Kayla Harrison photo. Kayla Harrison has never had abs like that, Kyle.
She is a monster.
Yeah, her torso.
And how does she even squeeze down to this division is pretty wild also.
Yeah, she's thick judo. So that's what we were laughing at, Dan, was that ridiculous.
She looks exactly, I don't know, deep cut. If you ever seen Grown Ups 2, the one character that they're chasing after, she looks exactly like the one with it's basically like a Hulk Hogan type character. But guys, all right, sell me time, because you got, I don't like all this agreement that I've been seeing out of you two. I like it when 2 of the best UFC experts that I know are on the same plays, but we need some dissension here. And also, I was thinking when I was prepping up the Sell Me segment, guys, and one of my favorite graphics that we have here, the MS Paint Sell Me robots. When I was prepping this up, I was just thinking, man, I miss our friend Prez. We love him. I don't miss him hosting this show. I'm not going to lie to you, but I do love what he would bring. So when I was looking, which fight am I going to give these guys, right? I channeled my inner Prez, and I saw that we had a fighter with the last name Wang. So I was like, well, in my true Prez, we got Wang fighting. We got to talk about this. He's fighting, or she is fighting Lipski. Lips to Wang. How are we going to bet this fight? Cong Wang and Ariane Lipski. Huge favorites all over this card, guys. So Kyle, you tell me why Wang never loses. Tell me why Wang won't lose. Minus 550. And Andy, somehow you have to make a case for Lipski plus 450. So favorite. Why is Wang winning? Wang always wins, Kyle.
Well, this is everybody Wang Chong tonight. She is going to slap around Ariane Lipski. And yes, the price is indicating that. She has got fast hands, good at range, high-level kickboxer. And, you know, you look at Lipski, she's a babe. You know, people like looking at her, but man, people really thought she was going to kind of get to that next level. Hasn't really been able to throughout her career. She's found some wins, has had some really unimpressive losses and just fell flat. I think this is a spot where Wang Kong is going to be able to work at range, work at distance. Lipski going to look for those takedowns, not be able to get them. I actually think this goes to the decision here. So I do like Wang Kong with the hand speed, with the kickboxing to just completely outland her over 3 rounds.
Andy, it's hard to beat somebody saying Wang Kong tonight. I mean, I don't know how you come back from that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not
Okay. All right. If this was a car dealership, I would be saying we need to talk style. And cars and fighters need to fit the right style. Dan, you don't need a monster truck driving around the suburbs, just like you don't need a Prius if you live in the mountains. And Lipski is all about stylistic. She's lost her last 2 matches. Why? Because she's gotten taken down. She has horrible wrestling. But on the feet, she can stand and she can pop. And Cong Wang got real cocky. She showed up at face-offs with the Joker paint. And 2 fights ago, she got sparked, knocked down by Gabriel Fernandez. Fernandez jumped on the neck and choked her out. She got way too cocky. I'm looking at this as a stylistic matchup. I don't think Cong Wang is going to take Lipski down. If she does, you're going to be very, very nervous if you're going into the 3rd round holding a Cong Wang ticket at minus 550. It's all about the style and the fit. And I think this is the perfect matchup for Lipski. To me, Ariane Lipski is the SUV in the suburbs that you can take the kids to soccer and you can go to Costco and you can get a gallon of hummus and a bottle of wine and a throw rug. And to me, Cong Wang is the Prius in the mountains. This just doesn't fit right. I'll give me the plus 410 split decision. And I agree with Kyle. This is going the distance. If you're holding a Cong Wang ticket and that announcer comes out and goes, Judge 1 scores at 29-20, and you know it's a split decision, you're going to be very, very nervous. I'll take Lipski.
I mean, you had to use hummus in your breakdown, Andy. It was masterfully done the way you worked it in there, but I'll be honest, we'll call the bell here. After he said Wang Kong tonight, I didn't hear anything else anyone else said. So I'm giving it to Kyle, but the more UFC fans, hop below in the comments and let us know who won, who were you sold on. You laying the chalk or you taking the dog? Love this segment, guys. Great work, and best of luck on the card. Grab that 5%er from our man Kyle Anthony, UFC 15. Use it as his page. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kyle. Good luck, brother. I can't wait to do this again next week. Good luck at UFC 316.
All right, man. Good luck.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Jam-packed show. We're going to do it again tomorrow. We're going to get you ready for the weekend. If you haven't hit that like button, please do. We've got tons of best bets that are up. Kyle's got a 5% best bet up. I've got 5% best bet pack that is up in UFC 316. Take advantage of that, and let's get after it tomorrow and get you ready for the weekend. Hit the like button, subscribe. Good luck on all your bets. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.